Hello students, I am Raghavendra Kumar Singh, faculty of US Academy and Institute. Today we will discuss class 8th Geography's 4th chapter Agriculture. The word agriculture is derived from the Latin word ager or agri meaning soil and culture meaning cultivation. Agriculture is a primarily activity that includes growing crops, fruits, vegetables, flowers, and rearing of livestock. In the world, 50% of persons are engaged in agricultural activities. Two-thirds of India's population is still depending on agriculture. The transformation from a plant to a finished product involves three types of economical activity: primary, secondary, and tertiary. In primary activity include the extraction and production of natural resources such as agriculture, fishing, gathering, and secondary activities the processing of these resources, for example, manufacturing of steel, baking of bread, and weaving of cloth. Tertiary activity, which provides support to the primary and secondary sector through services, which means the transport, trade, banking, insurance, and advertising. Agriculture is a primary activity favorable to the topography of soil and climatic conditions which are vital for agricultural activities. Now, the farm system. Agriculture or farming can be looked at as a system. Important inputs, seed, fertilizer, machinery, labor, and other activities should be enrolled in it. Operation involving plowing, sowing, irrigation, weeding, and harvesting. The outputs from these systems are crops, wool, dairy, poultry, and many more products related to the milk is the dairy product, the poultry products. Now the types of farming. Subsistence farming and commercial farming are the main types of farming depending upon the geographical condition, demand of produce, labor, and level of technology. In subsistence farming, which is classified as intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence farming. Subsistence farming, intensive subsistence agriculture, primitive subsistence agriculture. These are the types of farming which is practiced to meet the need of the farmer's family. The farmer cultivates a small plot of land using simple tools and more labor. Climates with a large number of days with sunshine and fertile soil permits growing of more than one crop annually on the same plot, including shifting cultivation and nomadic herding. Shifting cultivation. A plot of land is cleared by felling the trees and burning them. The ashes are then mixed with the soil and crops are grown. After the soil loses its fertility, the land is abundant and the cultivators move to a new plot. Shifting cultivation is also known as slash and burn agriculture. Nomadic herdsman moves from one place to the another with their animals for fodder and water along defined routes. These types of movements arise in response to climatic constraints and terrains. Main were the crops which are related to rice, wheat, maize, pulses, and oiled seeds. Shifting cultivation, maize, yam, potatoes, and cassava. Now the nomadic herding. Nomadic herding, in which sheep, camel, yak, and goats are most commonly reared. They provide milk, meat, wool, hides, and other products to the herders and their families. Areas prevalent in the thickly populated area of the monsoon region of the South, Southeast, and East Asia. Shifting cultivation practiced in the thickly forested areas of Amazon basin, tropical African parts of Southeast Asia, and Northeast India. Nomadic herding practiced in the semi-arid and arid region of Sahara, Central Asia, and some parts of India, like Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir. Now, the commercial herd farming. Commercial grains farming, mixed farming, and plantation agriculture. Commercial farming means the commercial grains farmed or the mixed farming, plantation, agricultural crops are grown and animals reared, sell in the market. The large area is cultivated and a large amount of capital is used. Work done by machines, crops are grown for commercial purposes. These areas are sparsely populated with large farms spreading over hundreds of hectares. Severe winter restricts the growing season and only a single crop can be grown. The land is used for growing food and fodder, crops, rearing livestock, a type of commercial farming where a single crop is grown. Large amount of labor and capital are required. They produce may be processed on the farm itself or in nearby factories. The development of a transport network is thus essential for such farming. Crops, wheat and maize, tea, coffee, sugarcane, cashew, rubber, banana or cotton areas, temperate grasslands of Northern America, Europe and Asia. Practiced in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, Southeast Australia, New Zealand and South Africa are the major plantations found in the tropical region of the world. Rubber in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India and Sri Lanka. Now about the major crops. The major food crops: wheat, rice, maize and millets. Fiber crops: jute and cotton. Important beverage crops are tea and coffee. Now about the rice. The staple diet of the tropical and subtropical region needs high temperature, high humidity and rainfall. Grows best in alluvial clayey soil, which can retain water. Leading producers of rice are China, followed by India, Japan, Sri Lanka and Egypt. In favorable climatic conditions like West Bengal and Bangladesh, 2 to 3 crops are grown in a year. Now about the wheat, which requires moderate temperature and rainfall during the growing season, bright sunshine at the time of harvest. Thrives best in well-drained, loamy soil grown extensively in USA, Canada, Argentina, Russia, Ukraine, Australia and India. Grown in winter season. Now about the millet. Millet, which are known as coarse grains, can be grown on less fertile and sandy soil. A hardy crop that needs low rainfall and high to moderate temperature and adequate rainfall, such as jowar, bajra, and ragi, are grown in India, also in Nigeria, China, and Niger. Now about the maize. Maize requires moderate temperature, rainfall, and lots of sunshine. Need well-drained, fertile soil. Grown in Northern America, Brazil, China, Russia, Canada, India, and Mexico. Now about the cotton. Cotton, which requires high temperature, light rainfall, 210 frost-free days, and bright sunshine to grow best on a black and alluvial soil, which leads to the producer of cotton are China, USA, India, Pakistan, Brazil, and Egypt. The main raw materials for the cotton textile industries. Now the jute. Jute is also known as the golden fiber. Grows well on alluvial soil, requires high temperature, heavy rainfall, and humid climate. Grown in the tropical areas, leading producers of jute are India and Bangladesh. Cotton, which requires a warm and wet climate and well-drained loamy soil. Hill slopes are more suitable for the growth of crop. Leading producers are Brazil, followed by Colombia and India. Now tea. A beverage crop grown on a plantation which requires cool climate and well distributed high rainfall throughout the year for the growth of its tender leaves, which needs well-drained loamy soil and gentle slopes. Leading producers of tea are Kenya, India, China, Sri Lanka, which produce the best quality of tea in the world. Now about the agricultural development. Effort made to increase farm production in order to meet the growing demands of the increasing population. Which achieved in many ways, such as increasing the crops area, the number of crops grown, improving irrigation facilities, such use of fertilizers and high yielding varieties of seeds. Ultimate aim of agricultural development is to increase food. Developing countries with a large population practice intensive agriculture where crops are grown on small holding mostly for subsistence. Larger holding and are popular for commercial agriculture. Agricultural development refers to the effort to increase farm production so as to meet growing demand of increasing population mechanism. A part of agricultural development means using more machines than human laborers. A typical Indian farm is about 1.5 hectare in area, whereas a typical USA farm is about 250 hectares. In the USA, farmers use very modern method for agriculture. In India, however, absolute methods are used in most part. Mechanism is not seen which much in India as compared to USA. A farmer in India generally works as a peasant, whereas in the USA he works as a complete businessman. Now, a farm in India. A typical Indian Munna Lal has a farmland of about 1.5 hectares. He purchases high-yielding varieties of seeds from the market every alternate years. Mostly subsistence farming exists in India. Labor availability and small size of farmlands make it for farmers to use intensive farming practices. Now about the a farm in USA. The average size of a farm in the USA is about 250 hectares. The farmers grow corn, soybean, wheat, cotton, and sugar beet. Crops are grown at a commercial level. Large farmlands and less population is suitable to development of this type of farming, which is developed in the developed nation.